Ever heard of a civilization so advanced it vanished without a trace? A society that built magnificent palaces, mastered intricate art, and even developed a writing system we still can't crack? That's the enigma of the Minoans. Imagine the island of Crete, a jewel sparkling in the Aegean Sea. Thousands of years ago, this idyllic island was home to a thriving culture, a civilization so influential it left an indelible mark on history, even though nobody really knows what became of them. Picture sun-drenched beaches, fertile valleys, and majestic mountains, the perfect setting for a flourishing society. But this paradise held a dark secret, a mystery that has baffled historians and archaeologists for centuries. The Minoans, who were they, and what was their fate? Their story begins around 2700 BC. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving. They were innovators, masters of their environment, building sprawling palaces that were marvels of engineering for their time. We're talking sophisticated plumbing, drainage systems that would make modern cities envious, and a level of architectural sophistication that was unheard of elsewhere in the world at that time. Their palaces weren't just functional. They were works of art, showcasing a unique style and unparalleled craftsmanship. Think about that for a second. A civilization so advanced, so creative, so seemingly secure, simply disappeared. No dramatic battle, no widespread plague, no obvious cataclysm that explains their sudden vanishing act. Just gone, leaving behind breathtaking ruins, tantalizing clues, and a legacy of unanswered questions. Their art speaks volumes, vibrant frescoes depicting bull-leaping ceremonies, lively depictions of marine life, and scenes of everyday life that offer glimpses into their rich culture. It's a captivating window into a world lost to time, a world that seemed to possess a deep connection to both the land and the sea. This artistic legacy is incredibly beautiful, but it doesn't solve the mystery of their sudden disappearance. In fact, it only makes the mystery more poignant. The sheer scale of their achievement only magnifies the enigma. How could a culture so advanced, so seemingly stable, simply vanish from the face of the earth? Did a natural disaster wipe them out? Did a conquering army sweep through, leaving no survivors? Or was it something more subtle, a gradual decline brought on by internal strife or environmental change? The truth, it seems, is shrouded in the very same mystery that surrounds their sophisticated writing system, Linear A. Thousands of clay tablets have been unearthed, yet the meaning of their script remains elusive, a tantalizing secret locked away in the past. So, what happened to the Minoans? It's a question that echoes across millennia, a challenge to our understanding of history and civilization itself. The island of Crete, once a vibrant center of Minoan life, now holds the silent remnants of a lost world, a world waiting to be fully understood. And that, my friends, is why their story continues to fascinate us, and why we're only just beginning to unravel their incredible mystery. Over 1,000 years. That's how long the Minoan civilization thrived. 1,000 years of innovation, artistry, and a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Think about that. 1,000 years of a society building incredible things, creating stunning art, and developing a language we still can't understand. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? From 2700 BC to 1450 BC, the Minoans were the undisputed masters of Crete. They weren't just surviving, they were flourishing. Their palaces weren't just buildings, they were statements. Imagine structures sprawling across the landscape, palaces that weren't just impressive, but mind-bogglingly advanced for their time. We're talking sophisticated plumbing, intricate drainage systems, and a level of architectural planning that would make even modern engineers raise an eyebrow. These weren't just homes. These were centers of power, commerce, and culture. Think of them as the Silicon Valleys of their day, only instead of computers, they had frescoes, and instead of coding, they had a writing system so complex, it still baffles us today. And the art. Oh, the art. It's not just pretty, it's breathtaking. Vibrant frescoes depicting scenes of daily life, religious ceremonies, and the natural world. They weren't just painting pictures. They were telling stories. Stories of bull-leaping rituals, daring feats of athleticism and strength that were clearly important to their culture. Stories of marine life, showcasing a deep connection to the sea that surrounded their island home. These weren't just decorations. They were windows into their souls, vibrant expressions of a society rich in culture and tradition. But the real kicker? Their writing system, Linear A. Thousands upon thousands of clay tablets have been discovered, covered in this mysterious script. Archaeologists have pored over them for decades, trying to decipher its secrets, hoping to unlock the mysteries of their language and their history. Think of it, a complex system of symbols, a language that held the keys to their beliefs, their laws, their history, and were still locked out. It's like stumbling upon a treasure chest, the key right there in your hand, but the lock remains stubbornly unyielding. It's frustrating, yes, but it's also incredibly compelling. It's a testament to the sophistication of the Minoan civilization. They had a language so complex, it continues to challenge us millennia later. This isn't just about palaces and paintings. It's about a society that thrived for over 1,000 years, leaving behind a legacy of innovation and artistry that continues to inspire awe and wonder. A civilization so advanced, so creative, so seemingly secure, and yet its secrets remain largely hidden. It's a story of triumph and mystery, a puzzle with pieces scattered across time, waiting to be carefully pieced together. And the first step in solving that puzzle is understanding the sheer scale of their achievement, the incredible sophistication of their society, and the frustrating mystery of that undeciphered script. 1,000 years of history, waiting to be revealed. Ever wondered what life was like in a palace thousands of years ago? Forget dusty, cramped rooms. Picture this. Knossos, the biggest Minoan palace, a sprawling complex that a testament to their incredible engineering prowess. We're not talking about basic huts here. This place was seriously advanced. Imagine walking through its corridors, feeling the echoes of a civilization that thrived centuries before the Romans even existed. Knossos wasn't just a royal residence. It was a bustling city within a city, a hub of activity and innovation. And the most mind-blowing part? Their plumbing and drainage systems. Seriously, these guys were centuries ahead of their time. We're talking about sophisticated networks of clay pipes, expertly designed to carry both fresh water and wastewater. Think about it. Running water in a palace built thousands of years ago. It wasn't a luxury reserved for the elite. The entire palace complex benefited from this innovative system. They understood the importance of hygiene, of sanitation, in a way that was remarkably advanced for their era. No wonder they thrived for so long. This wasn't just some haphazard system thrown together. This was planned, meticulously designed, and incredibly effective. The pipes were expertly fitted, the drainage channels were strategically placed, and the whole thing worked with remarkable efficiency. Archaeologists are still uncovering new aspects of this intricate system, finding more evidence of their advanced understanding of hydraulics. They weren't just reacting to problems, they were proactively designing solutions. And it's not just the plumbing. The entire palace complex showcases an impressive understanding of engineering principles. The scale of the construction is breathtaking. The way they managed to create such a large and complex structure speaks volumes about their organizational skills and their mastery of building techniques. The sheer size of Knossos alone tells us something about the power and sophistication of Minoan society. It wasn't just a palace, it was a statement. Think about the resources required to build something like this, the manpower, the materials, the planning. It would have taken an immense effort, a coordinated team of skilled workers, and a remarkable level of organization. It paints a picture of a highly structured society, a society that was capable of impressive feats of engineering and project management. They weren't just building a palace, they were building a legacy. The sheer sophistication of Knossos challenges our assumptions about ancient civilizations. We often picture these societies as primitive, but Knossos reveals a much more nuanced picture. This wasn't a society struggling to survive. This was a civilization flourishing, innovating, and creating a complex, functional, and beautiful urban center. Their engineering wasn't just a matter of practicality. It was an art form. The evidence is clear. The Minoans weren't just building palaces. They were building a future. A future that, sadly, remains shrouded in mystery. But the legacy of Knossos, the largest and most impressive testament to their engineering genius, continues to inspire awe and wonder. It stands as a powerful reminder of a civilization that, despite its eventual disappearance, left an indelible mark on the world. A mark etched not just in art and mythology, but in the very foundations of their incredible palace. A palace that whispers stories of a surprisingly advanced understanding of engineering, a society that knew how to build and how to build for the future. Ever seen art that practically leaps off the wall? That's the Minoan frescoes. Forget dusty museum pieces. These are vibrant explosions of color, capturing a world lost to time. Imagine vivid blues of the Aegean, the deep reds of Cretan earth, and the impossible grace of leaping bulls. These aren't just paintings, they're snapshots of a culture, a way of life, a connection to nature so profound, it's breathtaking. We're talking about frescoes, paintings created on wet plaster that somehow survived thousands of years. They're found in palaces, in homes, even in smaller settlements, showcasing the Minoan love for art, not just as a royal prerogative, but as a part of everyday life. Think about it. A civilization that infused its everyday spaces with beauty, a society where art wasn't a luxury, but a fundamental aspect of their existence. The bull leaping scenes are iconic. They're not just about athletic prowess, though the skill involved is undeniable. These images are deeply symbolic, possibly connected to religious rituals, to coming-of-age ceremonies, or even to the power and untamed energy of nature itself. Look closely at those frescoes. The bulls are magnificent, powerful, almost godlike creatures. The leapers, agile and daring, are dwarfed by their size, yet their bravery is palpable. It's a dynamic scene, full of risk, excitement, and a profound respect for the power of nature. But it's not just the bulls. The Minoan artists also captured the beauty of the marine world with astonishing accuracy. Think vibrant schools of fish, playful dolphins, and the graceful movement of octopuses. These aren't just illustrations. They're glimpses into a world where the sea was a vital part of life, a source of food, trade, and inspiration. The detail is remarkable. You can practically feel the texture of the scales, the smoothness of the dolphin's skin, the subtle ripples in the water. Notice the colors, too. The Minoans were masters of color, using a vibrant palette that reflects the intensity of their environment. The blues and greens of the sea, the reds and browns of the earth, the yellows and whites of the sun-drenched landscapes. It's a symphony of color, reflecting the richness and diversity of their world. It's a world where humans and nature existed in harmony, where the beauty of the natural world inspired their art, and where their art, in turn, celebrated that connection. The style itself is unique. It's fluid, dynamic, full of movement and energy. There's a sense of freedom, of joy, even a touch of playfulness in their art. It's a far cry from the more rigid, formal styles of other contemporary civilizations. It's art that feels alive, art that speaks to the soul, art that whispers stories of a culture deeply connected to its environment. This wasn't just art for art's sake. It was a reflection of their beliefs, their rituals, their connection to the land and the sea. It's a powerful testament to their appreciation of beauty, their skill as artists, and their profound understanding of the world around them. These frescoes aren't just relics of a lost civilization. They're windows into a vibrant culture, a culture that saw beauty in everything, from the power of the bull to the grace of the octopus. They are a testament to a unique aesthetic sensibility, a connection to nature that resonates even today, thousands of years later. And they leave us wondering what other secrets these vibrant colors hold. Ever tried to crack a code so old, so complex, it feels like you're deciphering messages from another planet? That's the challenge facing experts trying to understand linear A, the Minoan writing system. Thousands of clay tablets, filled with these mysterious symbols, lie scattered across Crete, whispering secrets we just can't seem to understand. They're like ancient diaries, brimming with information about their daily lives, their beliefs, their history, a whole civilization waiting to be unlocked. But the key? Well, that's still missing. Imagine stumbling upon a vast library, filled with books written in a language no one alive today understands. That's essentially what archaeologists have done with linear A. These aren't just a few scraps of writing. We're talking thousands of tablets, some small, some large, all covered in these intricate symbols. They're not just random marks either. There's a clear system, a structure, a grammar to this writing, a sophisticated language waiting to be deciphered. It's like finding a giant jigsaw puzzle with thousands of pieces, except we don't even know what the picture is supposed to look like. The frustrating thing is we're not completely clueless. Scholars have spent decades studying these tablets, meticulously cataloging the symbols, comparing them to other ancient scripts, looking for patterns, for clues, for anything that might shed light on their meaning. They've identified hundreds of individual symbols, analyzed their frequency and arrangement, attempted to reconstruct grammatical structures, and explored connections to other languages of the time. They've even used computers to analyze the patterns, searching for hidden codes and linguistic structures. Think of the dedication, the sheer brainpower poured into this endeavor. Years of painstaking work, and yet the mystery remains. Some symbols seem to represent numbers, others possibly names or places. Some scholars believe they've identified certain words or phrases, but it's all very tentative, very fragmented. The problem is we have no Rosetta Stone for linear A. Unlike the Egyptian hieroglyphs, which were eventually deciphered with the help of the Rosetta Stone, providing a parallel text in known languages, we don't have such a lucky break with linear A. There's no bilingual text to give us a starting point, no easy key to unlock the secrets held within those thousands of tablets. It's not just a matter of academic curiosity, either. Unlocking linear A would be like opening a time capsule, revealing a wealth of information about the Minoan civilization. We could learn about their religion, their political structures, their economy, their daily lives. A whole civilization would spring to life, filling in the gaps in our understanding of this fascinating culture. Think of the stories waiting to be told, the insights waiting to be discovered, the perspectives waiting to be shared. It's a window into the past, a window currently clouded by the impenetrable veil of an undeciphered language. The challenge is immense, but the potential rewards are even greater. Deciphering linear A wouldn't just solve a historical puzzle. It would transform our understanding of the Bronze Age, revealing a lost civilization in all its complexity. It would give us a deeper understanding of human history, of language evolution, and of the enduring power of human creativity. It would allow us to connect with a civilization that vanished without a trace, to hear their voices, to understand their world, to appreciate their achievements in a way that's currently impossible. It's a challenge that continues to fascinate and frustrate experts, a testament to the ingenuity of the Minoans and the enduring mystery that surrounds their disappearance. And it makes you wonder what incredible stories are hidden within those thousands of undeciphered tablets. What secrets are waiting to be revealed? So, the Minoans vanished. Poof, gone. But why? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And let me tell you, the theories are wilder than a bull-leaping competition. We're talking earthquakes that could shake the very foundations of their civilization. Imagine the palaces, those marvels of engineering, crumbling to dust. Imagine the sheer terror, the chaos, the lives lost. It's a terrifying picture, and one that certainly fits the bill. But earthquakes alone? Probably not the whole story. Then there's the tsunami theory. Picture this: a colossal wave, a wall of water crashing over the coastline, obliterating everything in its path. The sheer power of nature unleashed, sweeping away homes, temples, and everything the Minoans had built. It's a dramatic image, isn't it? A single, catastrophic event capable of wiping out a civilization in an instant. The evidence for this one is compelling, and many believe it played a significant role. But what if it wasn't just a single event? What if it was a 1-2 punch? A devastating earthquake, followed by a massive tsunami? The combination would be utterly catastrophic, a double whammy of nature's fury. This is something many experts consider a highly likely scenario. And let's not forget the volcanoes. The eruption of Thera, now Santorini, was one of the biggest volcanic eruptions in recorded history. The ash, the pumice, the tsunamis it triggered, it would have devastated the entire Aegean region. The Minoans would have been hit hard, no doubt. But again, was it the sole cause? Or just another piece of the puzzle? Then there's the wild card, the Mycenaeans. These were another powerful civilization, rising in mainland Greece. Some theories suggest a full-blown invasion, a brutal conquest that extinguished the Minoan flame. Imagine the clash of cultures, the battles fought, the cities sacked. A violent end to a vibrant civilization. This theory is supported by some archaeological evidence, showing a gradual shift in power, a Mycenaean influence creeping into Minoan territory. But was it a conquest, or something more subtle? Perhaps a slow, gradual absorption, a cultural exchange where the Mycenaean culture simply overwhelmed the Minoan one. A cultural takeover rather than a military conquest. This is a more nuanced theory, and it's one that offers a different perspective on the Minoan decline. The truth is, we don't have all the answers. It's likely not a single, simple explanation. It was probably a perfect storm, a combination of factors. A series of earthquakes, a devastating tsunami, the pressure of a rising Mycenaean power, perhaps even a volcanic eruption adding to the chaos. Maybe even climate change played a role, impacting agriculture and leading to societal instability. Each of these theories offers a piece of the puzzle, but none of them alone seems to fully explain the complete picture. So, what happened to the Minoans? It's a question that continues to captivate our imaginations. Was it a sudden, catastrophic event, or a slow, agonizing decline? Was it a single cause, or a complex interplay of forces? The mystery remains, a testament to the enduring power of a lost civilization and the challenges of unraveling the secrets of the past. The pieces are scattered, the clues are tantalizing, and the truth, well, the truth is still waiting to be discovered. But one thing is clear. The disappearance of the Minoans is a story of cataclysmic forces, both natural and human, a tragic tale of a once great civilization swallowed by the tides of time. Ever seen a volcanic eruption so powerful it changed the course of history? Picture this. The island of Thera, now Santorini, explodes. Not a little puff of smoke, but a cataclysmic eruption, one of the biggest in recorded history. We're talking about an event so massive, it literally reshaped the landscape, sent tsunamis crashing across the Aegean Sea, and plunged the region into darkness. This wasn't just a local event. This was a global catastrophe. It happened around 1600 BC, smack bang in the middle of the Minoan civilization's reign. And that's where the real mystery begins. Did this monstrous eruption deliver the final, fatal blow to the Minoans? Was this the ultimate reason for their sudden disappearance? The evidence suggests it might have been a major player, but not necessarily the sole culprit. Imagine the scene. The ground shakes, the sky turns black, and a colossal plume of ash and pumice erupts, blotting out the sun. The air itself is thick with ash, raining down on Crete, burying fields, suffocating livestock, and making life incredibly difficult. Then the tsunamis hit. Imagine walls of water, hundreds of feet high, slamming into the coastline, obliterating coastal settlements and causing widespread devastation. The sheer scale of destruction must have been unimaginable. The impact on the Minoans would have been catastrophic. Their economy, heavily reliant on agriculture and maritime trade, would have been crippled. Their infrastructure, already showing signs of wear and tear, would have been further damaged or destroyed. Their population, already potentially weakened by other factors, would have been severely impacted. This wasn't just a minor inconvenience. This was an existential threat. Archaeological evidence supports this. We found layers of volcanic ash buried deep in Minoan settlements on Crete, clear evidence of the eruption's impact. We've also found signs of tsunami damage, confirming that the massive waves reached the island, causing widespread destruction. It's not a matter of speculation. The physical evidence is there, stark and undeniable. But here's the thing. The Minoan civilization didn't vanish overnight. The evidence suggests a gradual decline, stretching over decades, perhaps even centuries. Their palaces show signs of repeated damage and reconstruction, suggesting that they were struggling to cope with a series of challenges, not just a single catastrophic event. The Thera eruption might have been the final straw, the knockout blow that finished off a civilization already weakened and struggling. Think of it as a boxer taking a beating. He's been hit repeatedly. He's bleeding. He's exhausted. Then he gets one final devastating punch. He's down for the count. The Thera eruption might have been that final punch, but the Minoans had already been taking quite a few hits before that. So, was the Thera eruption the sole cause of the Minoan collapse? Probably not. Was it a significant factor, a major contributing event that pushed a struggling civilization over the edge? Absolutely. It was a devastating blow, a catastrophic event that would have had a profound and long-lasting impact on the Minoans and the entire Aegean region. The eruption of Thera wasn't just a natural disaster. It was a turning point in history, a moment that irrevocably changed the course of civilization in the Aegean Sea. It might not have been the only reason for their downfall, but it certainly played a crucial, devastating role in their ultimate demise. The ash still settles, a silent testament to a catastrophe that reshaped the world. Okay, so we've talked about the incredible Minoan civilization, their advanced palaces, their stunning art, and their baffling linear script. But their story isn't just about a sudden, dramatic end. It's about a slow, agonizing decline. Think of it not as a single, catastrophic event, but a slow-motion train wreck. Forget the Hollywood-style collapse. No single meteor strike, no sudden invasion wiping them out in a day. The evidence paints a much more nuanced, much more unsettling picture. The Minoans didn't just vanish. They slowly faded away, like a candle flickering in the wind. And the best evidence for this slow decline? Their palaces. We've seen the breathtaking scale of Knossos, the largest Minoan palace. It's a masterpiece of engineering, a testament to their ingenuity. But look closer. Look beyond the stunning architecture, beyond the vibrant frescoes. Look at the scars, the evidence of repeated damage and repair. These aren't just minor cracks or cosmetic fixes. We're talking about significant structural damage, repairs that were clearly extensive, layers upon layers of rebuilding. Imagine the scene. A section of the palace collapses during an earthquake. The Minoans don't abandon it. They rebuild. They reinforce. They adapt. But then, another earthquake strikes, or maybe a fire or a flood. Again, they rebuild. Again, they repair. This wasn't a simple case of maintenance. It was a constant struggle for survival. Think about the implications. Each repair, each reconstruction, represents an investment of time, resources, and manpower. It means they were facing repeated crises, repeated setbacks. They weren't simply facing a single disaster. They were weathering a storm, a prolonged period of instability. The palaces themselves become a timeline, a visual record of their struggle. Each layer of repair tells a story of resilience, but also a story of relentless pressure. It's like looking at a tree that's been struck by lightning multiple times. It's still standing, it's still alive, but it's scarred, weakened, and clearly struggling. The Minoan palaces are like that tree, testament to their ability to withstand repeated blows, yet also a painful reminder of the challenges they faced. This isn't just about physical damage, either. The repeated repairs suggest a broader societal problem. The resources required for these extensive renovations must have put a strain on their economy, their social structures, their very way of life. It indicates a society struggling to maintain its infrastructure, its stability, its very existence. It wasn't a sudden end. It was a slow erosion, a gradual weakening, a steady decline. The evidence is compelling. We see the same pattern in other Minoan palaces across Crete. Repeated damage, repeated repairs. It's a clear indication that the Minoan civilization wasn't destroyed by a single cataclysmic event. Instead, it was gradually worn down, weakened by a series of challenges, until it finally succumbed. This slow decline doesn't diminish their achievements. Quite the opposite. It highlights their resilience, their tenacity, their ability to adapt and survive in the face of adversity. They faced multiple setbacks, and they fought back. They rebuilt their palaces time and time again. But eventually, the weight of these repeated blows, the constant struggle for survival, proved too much. Their story isn't just about their disappearance. It's about their enduring struggle, their remarkable resilience, and their eventual, agonizing decline. A slow fade, a gradual weakening, a story etched not in a single moment of destruction, but in the layers of repair within their magnificent palaces. The stones themselves whisper a tale of persistent hardship, a testament to a civilization struggling against the relentless pressure of time and circumstance. So the Minoans are fading. Their palaces are crumbling, their once vibrant culture showing signs of something. Is it just natural decline? Or is something else at play? Enter the Mycenaeans. These guys, hailing from mainland Greece, were a force to be reckoned with. Powerful, ambitious, and with a culture distinctly different from the Minoans. And the really interesting thing? We start to see their influence seeping into Minoan artifacts. Not just a little bit, either. We're talking a significant shift in pottery styles, in architecture, even in religious practices. Imagine this. You're an archaeologist, carefully brushing away centuries of dust to reveal a Minoan vase. But something's off. The style is different. It's got that familiar Minoan flair, that elegant simplicity, but there are subtle changes. New shapes, new patterns, new motifs that clearly point toward the Mycenaean influence. It's like watching two distinct colors slowly blend together, a gradual merging of cultures. It's not just pottery. We find Mycenaean-style weapons showing up in Minoan tombs. Architectural styles start to shift, incorporating elements that are distinctly Mycenaean. Religious iconography changes, with Minoan deities being replaced or incorporated into Mycenaean pantheons. It's a slow creep, a subtle shift, but it's undeniably there. It's as if the Minoan world is slowly being painted over, its unique identity being gradually obscured by a new layer of Mycenaean culture. Now, this raises a huge question. Was this a peaceful cultural exchange, a friendly borrowing of ideas and styles? Or was it something far more sinister, a slow, creeping conquest? A cultural takeover disguised as peaceful interaction? The evidence is ambiguous, leaving us to ponder the true nature of this cultural fusion. The peaceful exchange theory suggests a more subtle interaction. Maybe the Minoans, already weakened by natural disasters and internal strife, looked to the powerful Mycenaeans for support, for trade, for protection. In exchange, they adopted certain aspects of Mycenaean culture, a gradual integration rather than a forceful takeover. Think of it as a cultural osmosis, a slow, natural blend of two distinct societies. This theory would explain the gradual shift in styles, the blending of artistic and religious elements, without necessarily implying violence or conquest. But then there's the conquest theory. This paints a far more dramatic picture. Imagine the Mycenaeans, a rising power, slowly encroaching on Minoan territory, exerting their influence through force or political maneuvering. The adoption of Mycenaean styles could be a sign of submission, of forced assimilation. The blending of cultures wouldn't be a natural process. It would be a forced one, a cultural imposition imposed by a conquering power. This could be a slow, steady erosion of Minoan identity, a gradual replacement of one culture with another. The disappearance of linear A and the subsequent adoption of linear B, the Mycenaean script, would seem to support this narrative. Of course, it could have been a combination of both. A gradual weakening of the Minoans, making them vulnerable to Mycenaean influence, followed by a period of cooperation and cultural exchange, gradually morphing into a more forceful imposition of Mycenaean dominance. The evidence suggests a complex interplay of factors, a gradual shift in power dynamics that was likely neither entirely peaceful nor entirely violent. The archaeological record shows a clear shift in power, with Mycenaean settlements growing in prominence as Minoan influence wanes. But whether this was a result of peaceful integration or forceful conquest remains a matter of ongoing debate and research. Did the Mycenaeans absorb the Minoans through a gradual process of cultural exchange, or did they conquer and destroy them, leaving behind only a faint echo of what once was? The answer, it seems, is hidden somewhere in the fragments of pottery, the crumbling stones of palaces, and the silent whispers of an undeciphered script. The mystery lingers, a testament to the complexity of historical interactions and the enduring power of cultural influence. The blending of two worlds, a story still unfolding in the fragments of the past. Ever wonder what it looks like when one civilization fades and another rises? It's not a sudden bang, more like a slow, seismic shift in the earth itself. We're talking about the Minoans, remember? That incredibly advanced civilization that vanished from Crete? Well, their story isn't just about their disappearance. It's also about the rise of another powerful group, the Mycenaeans. And the archaeological evidence for their power grab is chillingly clear. For centuries, the Minoans ruled the waves, their magnificent palaces glittering across the island of Crete. They were the big players, the undisputed masters of the Aegean. But then, things started to change. The dig sites tell the story, not in grand battles or dramatic inscriptions, but in the subtle shifts in the artifacts themselves. Picture this: archaeologists meticulously excavating a Minoan settlement. They uncover pottery, tools, even the remains of homes. But something feels off. The familiar Minoan designs, those elegant curves and graceful patterns, are starting to morph. New styles emerge, bolder lines, different shapes. Subtly, almost imperceptibly at first, Mycenaean influences begin to creep in. It's like watching a chameleon change color, slowly adapting to its environment. Except in this case, the environment is changing because of the Mycenaeans. It's not just about pottery. Think about the architecture. The palaces, those incredible feats of engineering, start to show signs of a changing aesthetic. The distinct Minoan style, with its light and airy designs, is gradually replaced with a more imposing, more militaristic style. The Mycenaeans built differently, their structures often more fortified, reflecting a culture more focused on defense and power. The archaeological record shows a clear shift in building techniques, materials, and overall design philosophies, directly reflecting the growing Mycenaean influence. Then there are the tombs. As we excavate burial sites, the grave goods begin to tell a similar tale. The luxurious Minoan items, those intricate jewels and finely crafted tools, slowly give way to Mycenaean artifacts. The weapons, for example, are distinctly Mycenaean in style, often more aggressive and militaristic than the Minoan designs. This is more than just trade. It's a clear sign of changing power dynamics. It's like a silent takeover, a gradual replacement of one culture's symbols with another's. But it's not just about material culture. The very location of settlements starts to change. As we move through the layers of time, we see Minoan settlements dwindling while Mycenaean settlements flourish. The power centers shift, the population centers change, and the landscape itself reflects the changing tide of power. It's not a sudden conquest, not a dramatic overthrow. It's a slow, deliberate shift in the balance of power. Imagine a vast tapestry, woven with threads of Minoan culture. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, new threads, Mycenaean threads, begin to weave themselves into the fabric. At first, it's a subtle blend, a delicate intermingling of styles. But as time goes on, The Mycenaean threads become more dominant, gradually overshadowing the Minoan ones. The tapestry remains, but its original design is obscured, its vibrant colors muted by the encroaching dominance of a new pattern. This isn't speculation. This is what the archaeological record shows, a clear, undeniable shift in the power dynamics of the Aegean. The Minoan palaces, once symbols of their dominance, eventually fall into disrepair. The vibrant frescoes fade, their colors dulled by the passage of time and the changing tides of power. Meanwhile, Mycenaean settlements rise to prominence, their influence spreading across the region. The evidence is in the earth itself, in the layers of artifacts, in the very stones of the buildings. The rise of the Mycenaeans isn't a mere coincidence. It's a direct consequence of the waning Minoan power. The archaeological evidence speaks volumes, painting a picture of a gradual transition, a subtle yet significant shift in control. The very fabric of society is being rewritten, not with fire and sword, but with the subtle yet persistent influence of a rising power. It's a story of power, of influence, and the slow, inevitable shift in the balance of civilizations. A story etched in the earth, waiting to be fully understood. Ever stared at a cryptic message, convinced it holds the key to a lost world? That's the feeling archaeologists get looking at linear A, the Minoan script. We've got thousands of clay tablets covered in these enigmatic symbols, a whole library of secrets locked away. But what if the key to unlocking those secrets isn't hidden in the symbols, but in their disappearance? Because linear 8 just vanished. Poof, gone. No gradual evolution, no slow transition to a new dialect. It simply ceased to exist. And right around the time it disappears, something else shows up. Linear B. A completely different script, clean, crisp, and unmistakably Mycenaean. This isn't just a coincidence, folks. This is a seismic shift in the cultural landscape of the Aegean, a linguistic earthquake that points directly to Mycenaean dominance. Imagine the scene. The Minoan civilization, already weakened, perhaps by earthquakes, tsunamis, or volcanic eruptions, is teetering on the brink. Their unique script, linear A, the very language that defined their culture, is fading. Then, like a conquering army marching across the land, linear B arrives. It's not a gradual adoption, a slow linguistic evolution. It's a takeover, swift and complete. One day, everyone's writing in linear A. The next, it's all linear B. The script itself becomes a silent witness to the changing power dynamics. Think of it like this. Linear A is the language of a powerful empire, a language that reflects a unique worldview, a distinct cultural identity. Then, suddenly, that language disappears. It's not replaced by something similar, something that suggests an organic evolution. Instead, it's replaced by a completely different language, a language of a different culture, a language that reflects a completely different set of values and beliefs. The change is jarring, abrupt, and speaks volumes about the abrupt end of Minoan power. The disappearance of linear isn't just a linguistic event. It's a cultural one. It's a symbol of the Minoan civilization's decline, a stark marker of their loss of power and influence. The adoption of linear B, the script of their conquerors, is a powerful demonstration of Mycenaean control. It's not just a change in writing. It's a change in the very fabric of society, a complete cultural reset. It's not like switching from one version of software to another. It's like completely replacing your operating system. The Mycenaeans didn't just borrow a few words or phrases. They imposed their entire linguistic system, their worldview, their culture. Linear B wasn't just a new way of writing. It was the language of the new rulers. It was a declaration of dominance, a symbol of power, written not in stone or bronze, but in the very strokes of the pen, or rather, the stylus. Now, some might argue that the transition was more gradual, that linear B evolved from linear A, or that both scripts coexisted for a time. But the archaeological evidence doesn't support this. The transition is remarkably abrupt, a clear break between two distinct linguistic traditions. The near-complete absence of linear after a certain point is not easily explained by a theory of gradual evolution. The sudden disappearance of linear A, coupled with the rapid adoption of linear B, offers strong evidence for a swift and decisive Mycenaean takeover. It's not just a matter of cultural influence. It's a clear indication of a power shift, a change in rulership, a replacement of one cultural identity with another. The script itself becomes a powerful symbol of this transition, a silent testament to the rise of Mycenaean power and the fall of the Minoans. The silent evidence etched onto those clay tablets tells a powerful story, a story of dominance, of conquest, and of a culture erased, or at least significantly altered. The story of a language lost and a new one imposed. A story written not in words we can understand, but in the very absence of the words that came before. Ever imagine a civilization brought down not by war or plague, but by a slow, creeping change in the weather? It sounds almost unbelievable, doesn't it? But for the Minoans, climate change might have been the silent killer, the unseen enemy that slowly chipped away at their power and prosperity. We're used to thinking of climate change as a modern problem, but the reality is it's been shaping human history for millennia. And for the Minoans, it might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. The Minoans were farmers, their economy deeply intertwined with the land. Their prosperity depended on bountiful harvests, on fertile fields that produced enough food to feed their population and fuel their vibrant society. Imagine the sun-drenched valleys of Crete, once lush and green, teeming with life. Now, imagine those same valleys becoming increasingly dry, the rains becoming less predictable, the harvest failing year after year. That's the picture emerging from recent research into the Minoan collapse. We're not talking about a sudden, drastic shift in climate. It wasn't a single catastrophic drought that wiped them out overnight. Instead, the evidence suggests a gradual, long-term change in weather patterns, a slow but steady decline in rainfall, and an increase in periods of drought. Think about the impact on agriculture. Failed harvests would lead to food shortages, creating widespread hunger and unrest. The economy would suffer, trade routes would be disrupted, and social structures would start to crumble under the pressure. It wouldn't have been a dramatic collapse. It would have been a slow, agonizing decline, a gradual erosion of their way of life. Archaeological evidence supports this theory. Studies of pollen and other organic matter trapped in ancient sediments reveal a shift in vegetation patterns, indicating a change in the climate. Analysis of ancient tree rings shows periods of drought and reduced growth, providing further evidence of climate instability. Even the very architecture of Minoan settlements seems to reflect this changing climate. We're seeing a shift in building styles, with some evidence suggesting a move towards more water-efficient designs, possibly in response to increasing water scarcity. But climate change isn't just about drought. It can also lead to increased flooding, more violent storms, and other extreme weather events. Imagine the impact of a sudden, devastating flood, washing away crops and homes, disrupting trade, and causing widespread panic. Or think about the effects of more frequent and intense storms, damaging infrastructure and disrupting daily life. These events, combined with prolonged periods of drought, would have created a perfect storm of instability, pushing the Minoans to the brink. The impact wouldn't have been immediate. It wouldn't have been a single, catastrophic event that wiped them out overnight. Instead, the combination of drought, flooding, and other extreme weather events would have created a cycle of instability, making the Minoans increasingly vulnerable to other threats. Food shortages would lead to social unrest, weakening their political structures and making them more susceptible to invasion or internal conflict. It would have been a slow, agonizing decline, a gradual erosion of their power and influence. Think about it. A society already weakened by internal strife, perhaps facing pressure from the rising Mycenaeans, is suddenly hit by a series of climate-related disasters. Failed harvests lead to food shortages, social unrest erupts, and the political system starts to break down. Their infrastructure, already showing signs of wear and tear from repeated earthquakes, is further damaged by floods and storms. Their population, weakened by disease and malnutrition, is less able to resist external threats. It's a vicious cycle, a downward spiral that gradually pulls them into the abyss. The climate wasn't the only factor in the Minoan collapse, of course, but it was likely a significant one, a contributing factor that exacerbated existing problems and made the Minoans increasingly vulnerable. It wasn't a single catastrophic event, but a slow, creeping change that gradually eroded their power and prosperity, making them vulnerable to other threats. It's a stark reminder that climate change isn't just an environmental problem. It's a societal one, capable of destabilizing even the most advanced civilizations. The Minoans may have built magnificent palaces and created breathtaking art, but they couldn't control the weather. And in the end, the changing climate might have been their undoing. The subtle shifts in the very fabric of their world, the gradual changes in rainfall and temperature, the increasing frequency of extreme weather events. These are the silent forces that slowly, inexorably, led to their decline. A powerful reminder of the fragility of even the most advanced societies in the face of long-term environmental change. A grim lesson from the past, with echoes that resonate even today. Ever picture a civilization brought low not by armies or earthquakes, but by something invisible, something insidious, disease? The Minoans, those masters of Crete, built palaces that still amaze us, created art that still inspires. But even the most advanced societies are vulnerable. And for the Minoans, disease might have been the silent saboteur, weakening their grip on power, leaving them exposed to the forces that ultimately sealed their fate. Imagine life in Bronze Age Crete, a thriving society, bustling with activity, but also a society living cheek by jowl with the dangers of its time. Sanitation wasn't what we'd consider modern. Waste disposal was rudimentary, leading to unsanitary conditions that would be a breeding ground for all sorts of nasty bugs. Think crowded living spaces, limited understanding of hygiene, and a constant threat of contamination. A single outbreak could have devastating consequences. Now, we don't have detailed medical records from the Minoan era. No daily diaries detailing the aches and pains of the population. But we can look at the bones. Skeletal remains tell a story, a silent narrative etched in the very structure of a human body. Archaeologists have found evidence of various diseases in Minoan skeletons, including signs of tuberculosis, anemia, and even some evidence suggestive of parasitic infections. These weren't isolated cases. We're talking about widespread occurrences affecting large segments of the population. Think about the impact of a widespread disease outbreak in a society already under stress. The Minoans, as we discussed, were facing multiple challenges: earthquakes, tsunamis, possibly even volcanic eruptions. A major disease outbreak would have been the ultimate knockout punch. Imagine a population already weakened by food shortages and environmental disasters, now hit by a widespread illness. The death rate would have soared, the workforce would have been decimated, and the ability of the society to function effectively would have been severely compromised. It's not just about death either. Think about the debilitating effects of chronic illness. Anemia, for example, would have left people weak and susceptible to other infections. Tuberculosis would have drained their energy, leaving them less able to work or fight. Parasitic infections could have caused malnutrition and further weakened their immune systems. Even if people survived the initial infection, the long-term effects could have been devastating, reducing their productivity and overall resilience. This isn't a case of a single, isolated event. We're talking about multiple outbreaks occurring over time, gradually weakening the Minoan population. Imagine the cumulative effect of repeated waves of illness, each one leaving the population more vulnerable to the next. Each outbreak would have reduced their ability to cope with other challenges, their capacity to rebuild after natural disasters, their ability to resist external threats. And let's not forget the knock-on effects. A weakened population is a vulnerable population. A society struggling with disease is less able to defend itself against invaders, less able to maintain its infrastructure, less able to respond effectively to other crises. disease outbreaks could have weakened the Minoans' ability to resist the growing influence of the Mycenaeans, making them more susceptible to conquest or cultural absorption. It could have been the crucial factor that tipped the scales, the final straw that broke the back of a civilization already struggling under the weight of multiple challenges. It's a grim picture, isn't it? A thriving society brought to its knees not by a single dramatic event, but by a slow, insidious killer. Disease, it seems, wasn't just a minor inconvenience. It was a major player in the Minoan story, a contributing factor that weakened their resilience, made them vulnerable, and ultimately played a significant role in their demise. The silent killer, leaving its mark not on the grand palaces, but in the very bones of the people who inhabited them. A testament to the fragility of even the most advanced societies in the face of disease, a grim reminder that even the mightiest civilizations can fall prey to unseen enemies. The echoes of these ancient illnesses resonate across millennia, a silent narrative in the skeletal remains, whispering a story of suffering and vulnerability. A story that reminds us that even the most magnificent civilizations are not immune to the unseen forces of disease. So, we've explored earthquakes that could level palaces, tsunamis that could wipe out coastal cities, volcanic eruptions that could darken the skies for years. We've even looked at disease, a silent killer that could cripple a society from within. But the truth is, the Minoan collapse wasn't a simple case of one thing. It wasn't a single dramatic event. It wasn't a neat, tidy explanation. It was messy. Think of it like a Jenga tower. You've got this amazing structure, painstakingly built, each block carefully placed. It's impressive, beautiful, seemingly stable. But then, one by one, you start pulling out blocks. A minor earthquake, that's one block gone. A volcanic eruption, another block pulled. A disease outbreak, yet another. The Mycenaean influence, the gradual shift in culture, the changing climate. Those are all blocks being subtly removed, weakening the foundations, creating cracks in the structure. And these weren't just any blocks. They were interconnected. The earthquake could damage the infrastructure, making the society more vulnerable to disease. The climate change could lead to crop failures, creating social unrest and weakening the political system. The Mycenaean influence could destabilize trade and create internal conflict. Each event, each block removed, didn't just have its own impact. It amplified the impact of the others. It created a chain reaction, a domino effect. It wasn't a linear progression, either. It wasn't a simple A then B then C scenario. It was more like a tangled web, a complex interplay of causes and effects. One event might trigger another, creating a cascade of consequences that were difficult to predict or control. Imagine trying to untangle that web to pinpoint the exact moment the tower began to teeter. It's impossible. You can see the individual blocks being removed, but you can't say definitively which one caused the final collapse. The Minoans weren't passive victims. They fought back. They rebuilt their palaces after earthquakes. They adapted to changing agricultural conditions. They engaged in cultural exchange with the Mycenaeans. But they were fighting a losing battle, a battle against overwhelming odds. The combined impact of natural disasters, political instability, and cultural shifts proved too much to overcome. It was a perfect storm, a confluence of factors that created an irresistible force. It's not about assigning blame to a single event. It's about understanding the interconnectedness of events, the way seemingly disparate factors could combine to create a catastrophic outcome. It's about recognizing the complexity of historical processes, the way multiple forces can converge to shape the destiny of a civilization. It's about seeing the Minoan collapse not as a single, defining moment, but as a long, slow unraveling, a gradual weakening of the very fabric of their society. Think of it as a tapestry, exquisitely woven, each thread representing a different aspect of their civilization. Then, imagine threads being pulled, one by one, some dramatically, some subtly. Earthquakes rip through the fabric, creating gaping holes. Disease weakens the threads, leaving them brittle and prone to breaking. Cultural shifts fray the edges, unraveling the intricate patterns. The tapestry, once magnificent, begins to fall apart, not with a bang, but with a whisper. So what exactly caused the Minoan collapse? We may never know for sure, but by understanding the complex interplay of natural disasters, political upheaval, and cultural shifts, we can begin to piece together a more complete picture, a more nuanced understanding of this fascinating, lost civilization. It wasn't a single cause. It was a symphony of destruction, a complex and tragic interplay of forces that ultimately brought one of history's most intriguing civilizations to its knees. A testament to the fragility of even the most advanced societies in the face of overwhelming odds. The collapse wasn't a single event. It was a process, a slow, agonizing unraveling of a once great empire. A story of resilience, of adaptation, and ultimately of defeat. A story written not in stone, but in the complex interplay of forces that shaped the fate of a civilization. So, we've pieced together a pretty complicated puzzle, haven't we? Earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, disease, the creeping shadow of the Mycenaeans, even climate change. It all seems to point toward a perfect storm that swallowed the Minoans whole. But here's the thing, we still don't have all the answers. The mystery remains. And that, my friends, is what makes the Minoans so endlessly fascinating. Think about it. A civilization that thrived for over 1,000 years, leaving behind a legacy of breathtaking art, ingenious engineering, and a writing system that still defies our best efforts to decipher. They built palaces that would make modern architects envious, mastered techniques that were centuries ahead of their time, and created art that's still breathtakingly beautiful. And then poof, gone, without a clear, concise explanation. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? The frustrating, tantalizing enigma of a civilization that vanished without leaving a clear trail of breadcrumbs. We have the fragments, the clues, the stunning frescoes, the intricate pottery, the remnants of their palaces, but the complete picture remains elusive. It's a mystery that begs to be solved, a puzzle that continues to challenge our understanding of history and civilization itself. And that's where you come in. Because the truth is, we've only scratched the surface. We've presented the most compelling theories, the most likely scenarios, but the possibility remains that we're missing something crucial, some vital piece of the puzzle that would unlock the entire mystery. Maybe there's a hidden factor, an unknown element that hasn't yet been discovered, a piece of evidence waiting to be unearthed. Maybe it was a combination of factors we haven't fully considered, a complex interplay of events that we haven't yet managed to fully grasp. Perhaps the true cause wasn't a single, dramatic event, but a gradual erosion of their power, a slow decline brought on by a series of smaller, less obvious factors. Perhaps it was a combination of internal strife and external pressures, a perfect storm of circumstances that they simply couldn't weather. The beauty of this mystery is that it's not closed. It's an ongoing conversation, a continuing investigation. This isn't just a story from a dusty textbook. It's a living, breathing mystery that continues to unfold with every new discovery, every new piece of evidence, every new interpretation of the existing data. And that's why I want to hear from you. What are your theories? What do you think happened to the Minoans? Do you think it was a single cataclysmic event, a gradual decline, a combination of factors, or something else entirely, something we haven't even considered? The Minoans left behind a legacy of unanswered questions, a challenge to our understanding of history and civilization. But they also left behind a legacy of inspiration, a testament to human ingenuity and creativity. Their story is a reminder that even the most advanced civilizations are not invincible, that even the most powerful societies can be swept away by the tides of time. And it's a story that continues to fascinate us, to challenge us, and to inspire us to keep searching, keep digging, keep exploring, keep asking questions. Because the mystery of the Minoans isn't just about the past. It's about our present, our understanding of history, and our ongoing quest to unlock the secrets of the human experience. So, let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts, your theories, your wildest speculations. Let's explore the possibilities together. What's your take on this incredible enigma? Tell us in the comments below. Let's unravel this mystery together. The Minoans may be gone, but their story, their mystery, continues to live on. And it's waiting for you to help us solve it.